Hey guys, long time no see. I think it's been like 2 weeks since I did a video. I went on a trip to Alberta, did a little bit of fossil activities. Got this sucker. That is a Spinosaurus tooth. Pretty stoked. Drumheller. If you haven't been, you gotta go. But I'm just making coffee now, and we're gonna head out to this pretty sick little hidden beach. Absolutely gorgeous. The landscape's like another planet almost, but if you walk far enough, there's fossils. So let's go take a look. What up, YouTube?
What up, YouTube?
There you go. All right, here we are. Beauty little bonsai tree. Isn't that cool? It's like a different planet. Whole bunch of sandstone bedrock. All eroded in the weirdest ways. That's gorgeous. Let's go check some of this out. Absolutely gorgeous. So all of these big chunky bits, there's some more over here. So these are actually concretions that formed while all of this stuff used to be sand. Sometimes material and minerals would mineralize and pack around stuff, like it could be a bone or a shell or what have you. Like generally these are what you go looking for fossils in. But these ones we're not going to mess with because they are absolutely gorgeous features of the land. They should be respected as such. But boy, is it pretty. The geology of this spot is crazy. So here's an example of something real cool. Check this out. Big round rock. That's a big old rock right there. And you know, I think it's a fair assessment to say that this bad boy was probably right there. That's sort of probably where it formed in the layer. And as the tides come in and out and whatnot, cause all types of erosion, out she pops and rolls down. And there's a few of them, like concretion, 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 concretion. Here's another, just a round boy lying around. Now, if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, wow, this is impossible. How could it be so symmetrical? As I've heard said before, but you know, never underestimate nature. As they say, here's another one, just getting, you know, eroded out. But it's really cool. If you explore these, you know, geological formations, you can find some really neat stuff. You know, it's almost like being on another planet. This one, like, you know, if you didn't have that ocean backdrop, you'd think you're on Mars or something, right? It's really, really cool. That's one cool thing. I was in Alberta there, I think I already said, in Drumheller. The geology there is really cool. I'll drop some photos. So you guys can see because I took a lot of photos. I didn't do any videoing because I kind of just want to enjoy the vacation and whatnot. But I got lots of pictures because it was really cool. The museum was really cool. Anyways, I'm gonna keep trucking. So not far beyond this point here is a spot where you can actually find some fossils, which is really neat. So I'm gonna head that way now. So I'll see you there. All right, we made it in one piece. Looking for some neat rocks. Found a nice little bit of chert. Got some big trees and whatnot. Lovely little beach. Just look at that little guy. That's a neat rock. Whole bunch of neat rocks on this beach. It's a nice one. It's a gooder. It's definitely a gooder. So just gonna walk along. There's a little bit more sandstone over there. I'm gonna go give it some love and see if we can't score some fossils. As I say that, got a nice little piece of dalasite. Pretty. We are at the spot that I was aiming to get to. It's an absolutely beautiful day. You hear those sea lions? What a nuisance. Anyways, this here is the rock layer. This is the good stuff here. So stuff that's eroded out of there comes in here, turns into sand. But also comes out in big clumps, like this stuff. You can see somebody's been here breaking it apart and whatnot, looking for, you know, all kinds of stuff, really. That looks like it's something. I'm not quite sure what. But yeah, there's a little clam fossil right there even. And then there's bigger bits and smaller bits and whatnot, and you can sort of just pick through and see if you can't find any of the good stuff. And on top of that, you also have a wealth of beautiful, beautiful rocks. Look at that dalasite. Isn't that gorgeous? I gotta wash that sucker off. There you go. Look at those patterns. Just lovely. They leave this stuff just lying around, eh? There's another cool one. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. But we'll have to see, you know. Can't win them all, is what they say. Anyways, I will talk to you guys in a little bit. So this is kind of cool. I didn't actually break this rock, but I was just walking by. Check this. Got some oyster fossils. Isn't that kind of cool? That's a dense, hard rock. But that's really neat. You can sort of see the layers there. That is cool. Finding some nice rocks as well. We got a little bit of red jasper. Super porous, not very good for doing anything, so leave that for somebody else to find. We got this really nice little, I think it's chert something, just judging by the lines on it. But yeah, another beautiful one. But I'll leave that for somebody else to find. Yeah, those sea lions are crazy. People that live around here, they get so mad about the sea lions. Can you imagine? Some of these houses are like millions of dollars. You buy a beautiful house on gorgeous Vancouver Island, beachfront, lovely, with a dog. And then day in and day out, there's like 40 sea lions barking at you all the time. C'est la vie. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Another big chunk of dalasite. Raw piece. Oh, there's more of one here too. Voila. Fancy. Fancy, fancy. Just cleaned up that one piece of dalasite and look at that. Isn't that cool? There's some really neat patterns on it. That's lovely. Lovely. Yeah, looking for fossils here is a little difficult. But there is no shortage of really neat rocks. I am loving it. Ooh. There we have a big dead jellyfish. I ain't touching it. Don't even think about it. I'm not touching that thing. Oh, 2 more. Yummy. As if the jellyfish were an omen for neat finds. We got this guy. Oh, there you go. Looks like a heart. Kind of neat. But now that is a nice piece of dalasite right there. Holy moly. Gonna keep moving. I had some luck down that way a while back, so we're gonna go and see if it's still lucky. Oh yeah, look at that. And look at that. Not sure if that's a plant or a piece of a fish perhaps. I'm not sure. That's definitely some kind of bivalve. And then right on the shale bed, like you can see underneath all these rocks here, it's one big shale bed. And that's the good stuff. I mean, you sort of just look around for fossil rocks, like rocks with any sign of having something in them. Like this one, you know, that was probably a bivalve. We got something there. This looks like a rock that was in there, but yeah, so that's one example. I think I got another one here. My pockets are full of rocks. Let's see, that's the issue. So yeah, we got this guy here, you know, some fossils there, something's going on there, kind of neat. The trick is to sort of get the hang of identifying concretions, like eroded concretions. So for instance, that's, you know, a normal rock. I think that might be granite or something like that. This guy, he looks a little odd. So these are calcite veins, and if you look closely, it's actually quite porous. So that was a piece of a concretion, you know. And there's lots of them around. Some of them, like the ones with all the calcite veins or the crumbly up ones, generally don't have much in them. But this guy here, you can see those white lines are actually the cross section of bivalves, clams. So if I crack this open, there'll probably be clams inside, which is pretty cool, right? And yeah, it's just getting the hang of, you know, that's a normal rock, that's a concretion. And then you give them a good look, see if they've got signs of fossils in them. And then that gives you an idea of if they're worth cracking open, right? As you can see here, somebody saw this rock. There's a chisel mark and a chisel mark. They probably saw a crack in it, I bet you. And they split it. Didn't find much except for a bunch of gravel that got stuck in the sand before it turned into rock. Still kind of neat. See, these are that stuff is the calcite. It's pretty neat. That's sort of what they look like on the outside, right? They'll have a similar color. Calcite, but that hole right there is most likely was a fossil, but eroded out. That's a neat piece of dalasite. Do you see anything else here? What's this? Cleaned up for you. There we have what looks like there's a vein of calcite right there for sure. And I see this here. Now that's interesting. A line there, a line there. These ones, it can be difficult to tell, right? Because they could be fossilized burrows as well, right? This one I think is worth keeping and having a look at a later date. Maybe prepping down into it and just see what's going on in there. whether it's a burrow or some kind of heteromorphic ammonite or something, you know what I mean? Anyways, I'm gonna keep on trucking here and see if I can't find some neat rocks. I want to try and find some fossils other than clams. Anyways, wish me luck on this endeavor. And it's quite the view. I love this. Beautiful. Beautiful. You got the little bumper boat putting the logs together. It's awesome. Here we go, guys. I found you a nice treasure rock. Can you see him? That lovely lady right there. So get a load of this. All those are clams. Got a clam there. There's a lot going on in this rock. All kinds of stuff in that one. So we'll give it a tap and see how it fares here. So we got the first few taps of the hammer. Broke apart. As you can see, there's a little bivalve in there, but it's just a mishmash of all kinds of things. Probably like a big tidal wave washed a whole bunch of stuff together, then it all got buried together. That's why we call them treasure rocks, because they're just full of treasures. You never know what's going to be in there. This is a really nice bivalve right here. I might keep that guy. And then here's the actual rock here. Like, as you can see, there's still a lot going on in there, so I'll give it a few more taps and see if we can find some cool stuff. Sometimes you can find little bitty ammonites in these, so we'll give it another whack. I don't have my GoPro, so I can't film the whack sort of thing because I need both my hands, but regardless, you're going to see the spoils. So I'll see you in a bit. Here's some more. Look at the detail on that. Isn't that beautiful? Super cool. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous little treasure rock. Beautiful. Ooh. Nice little piece of dalasite. Anyways, that's sort of what we're looking for, right? So that was good. That was a really good example. All right, guys. I'm tuckered out. I'm not tuckered out. I'm just kind of bored. Been here for a couple hours, so I think I've earned a rest. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. I'm gonna try and have a better upload schedule because I was kind of lacking over the last 2 weeks. I was sick and I went on a trip, and yeah, it's a thing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye now.